Okay, like Danny.
Good morning, Shifu and everyone. Okay, question. Actually, yesterday's question. Yeah, I'd like to ask, right? During meditation,
Uh-huh.
is it possible to use contemplation to get into concentration?
Is it possible to use contemplation to get into concentration?
Yeah, as a method. Use contemplation as a method to get into concentration.
For some cases, yes. For some cases, no. Yeah. My teacher actually did advise us. So usually when we have thoughts, right, we use the mindfulness of the breath, yeah, or the the later technique, counting of the breath, to overcome these discursive thoughts. Yeah, so quieten the mind. But sometimes for some people, the thinking is very prolific. Yeah, it's a very strong habit. So when you try to stop the thinking, it say no, I want to think. So my teacher says, you can also, instead of trying to quieten it, make use of it. Just use it in a way that can quieten the mind. But how to do it? Basically, use contemplation. Yeah. So the tricky part is that when we so-called do contemplation, easy to end up thinking. Yeah. So I've shared in many classes the differences between thinking and contemplation. The the object that you want to contemplate on is predetermined. Yeah. And you don't change the object. The scope of the contemplation is also fixed. You don't expand the scope. The approach of contemplation is also fixed. You don't think in this way or that way, today think halfway, then think in this way, think in that way. And it's using the Dharma approach, not using our own 旧家风. My teacher always say, 我们用我们旧家风. No. Yeah. So if we can do that, then we can use contemplation. But even then, you don't contemplate throughout the whole sitting. Maybe you contemplate on the impermanence for maybe 5 minutes. Then after 5 minutes, maybe you observe the breath. Then observe the breath for 15 minutes, so 20 minutes. Then you contemplate again for 5 minutes. Then again 15 minutes. Another 20 minutes, total 40 minutes. Then you contemplate another 5 minutes. And then you meditate for another 15 minutes, another 20 minutes. So 20, 20, 20, 60 minutes. Then you do this 1,000 times, so you meditate 1,000 hours. Yeah. So this is the approach. Yeah. But at the same time, we must give the method some time to take place. Whether you use samatha to quieten the mind, or you start off with so-called contemplative vipassana first. You need to give it some time for it to take effect. Otherwise, you end up switching. Today try this technique, cannot. Tomorrow try this technique, cannot. That will not work. Yeah, you need to. We not you but we need to try a method and give it some time to take effect. Yeah. Imagine if you're having headache, then you take Panadol. Then within 5 minutes or 1 minute, you're like, still have headache. Maybe I take something else. Then another 1-2 minutes, headache is still there. Take another thing. Within 15 minutes, maybe you take 15 different kind of medicine. Then you die. After that, you don't feel anything anymore. So whatever technique, you need time for it to take effect. Yeah. In particular, our habitual tendency to think, this takes time because it is a habit. It has momentum. So no matter what technique you use, the mind doesn't just stop. Yeah, you need time to condition it. It's just like when you do sports, right? You need to do over a period of time to condition your muscle. So our mind also need to be conditioned. Okay, keep up the practice. Good.
谢谢师傅。
Siwin posted something. Let me see. Dear everyone, join us for Urban Retreat 19 on 4th of September, which is next Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. to refresh, then full stop, then to refresh body and mind from the comfort of your home. Register today, and the link is there. Who is conducting?
Who is conducting?
Oh, I'm conducting. Yeah. So in case because you all don't know, because the Alaya, we have opened up for other organizations to post the events. So we hope to let different organizations, use Alaya as a platform. Actually, I was supposed to follow up with Foyo on a side project to bring the Foyo to the Web 2.0. But then from June until now, I've been caught up with multiple things. Yeah. So we'll see how. Yeah. Oh, Xingwei want to run off already. Don't worry, we will finish by run off already. Yeah. We'll do you know Foyo? I think I mentioned before, right? Yeah, so it's work in progress. No progress so far. Yeah, what to do? Yeah, too many things. Anyway, I want to wrap up the session by sharing a piece of news. My auntie passed away 2 days ago. So she's my favorite uncle's wife. So that makes her my favorite auntie also. Yeah. Her name is Chua Sok Hyang. Is it correct? Chua Sok Hyang. Yeah. In the Chinese family in Singapore, we tend to not know the name of our elders until they pass away. Pass away. Oh, Kim's name is Chua Sok Hyang. Oh, I see. Yeah. She's one of the mildest and gentlest person I've known. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen her break into a temper before. Yeah. And then I always remember when we go to my uncle's place, it's usually to do the what I call that, the 周期, the anniversary for my grandfather. Yeah. And then for the anniversary, the memorial, then they will usually prepare a lot of dishes, a lot of food, and other relatives would come, and then it'll be quite kanchiong, you know. And then my tuai, who is the elder sister of my mom, would also be involved in the cooking, and then my akim will be doing part of the cooking also. Then sometimes the my akuku, he will like 做你这个说 Teochew kanchiong kanchiong spider, the whole family all kanchiong spider one. So Akim will be like, yeah, not that she's slow motion, she's not slow, no, but she'll be very cool and say, Bomb, see, I think she will also call Kuku Ayong, or yeah, right? Yeah. So I mean, in my whole life I never called that way. But I'm just relating. Then she's like, oh, see, like when she's talking to the Tuai, then she said, see, Ayong, Johnny. Then when she talk, right, she will have both hands. Very cute. Yeah. Yeah, when they got married, I think when they got married, I was about 11 years old. So 1 year later, she gave birth to my cousin, Ivan. So Ivan is exactly 12 years younger than me. Yeah. And I remember when my uncle got married, then they asked me to go to their room and then lie down on the bed. Yeah. This is a Chinese customer or hope that will bring a boy, you know. So I mean, at the age 11 years old, what do you know? You know, it's like, huh? Then like all the adults like, lie, boy, lie. Then I'm like, go there for what? Then go there, then go inside there and just stand there. And they say, lie down. Then I'm like, I mean, as far as I can remember, in my mind, right, all you adults standing around and ask me to lie down there for what? Okay, yeah. So I remember when Ivan was still a small kid. So all the way until I was in NS, actually, weekends, oftentimes, every now and then, every other weekends or something, my uncle will ask me to go over. Yeah, sometimes because his computer got problem, but sometimes, to be honest, I tell you, I can create more problem than I fix. Yeah, and but I never hear one word from my Akim. Yeah, I mean, it's impossible that me being such a mischievous naughty boy never do stupid things, right? But she never once scold me before. No? Yeah, quite amazing. Yeah, quite amazing. And so one advice she ever gave me before. Yeah. So back in the 80s, my uncle was already working in the shipping company. So back in the 80s, it was DOS era, right? So we haven't bought, my sister haven't bought her computer. Her computer was, I think, 1990 or 1991, absent the 286, AT286. Then my uncle in the 80s, I think late 80s, got his computer. So because of his work, he need to do a lot of forms. And back then, there's no Windows, like it's DOS, not even Windows 3.1. It's just DOS. So how? So he asked me whether whether we can have a program to fill up data, and then print out onto the form. So I was in secondary school at that point in time. I already started watching the TV to learn how to write games, you know. So very funny. Like nobody told me that no, you're not supposed to write a program all by yourself. Nobody told me that you are just a kid. You shouldn't be able to do that. So nobody tell me cannot. So I go and write. So I wrote a form program for him. So he used it, because last time the printer is not A4 paper, it's the feeder type with the perforated side. Then alignment is always an issue. And then they got the form which has the format. But back then you use word star, and you use word star, the alignment is half the time don't know go where one know. Then so he asked me, is it possible? So I said, yeah, can try. Yeah, and it kind of worked. And I think he used it for a while. But eventually form tools came out. Yeah, and later on, I think they started using DBase, which you can create a kind of a report page or something. Yeah, DBase at his time was DBase 2. Because when I went to NS, then maybe not even DBase 2, DBase. Then later got DBase 2, DBase 3. When I was in NS, it was DBase 3. And then this Akim, she gave me one advice, which later on, years later, I realized that, yeah, that's the best practice in consulting. She told me, boy, next time when you go, if you do go into this field, you must, and then her gesture is then she would say, then you must be careful. Yeah, you must always make sure that you like determine actually did she speak to me in English? Yeah, I think when we talk about computer stuff, she'll speak English. You must make sure the features are already set. Yeah, and then don't change the features. Otherwise, the customer will always want to have more and more and more. And then why? I was probably in secondary school, or maybe by then, when she told me this was maybe JC. I mean, I have no idea about what the corporate world is. But years later, in consulting, I learned that this is actually called scope creep or feature creep. Yeah, in R&D we learn this also. In consulting we also learn this. Yeah, so we always come up with the specification, yeah, before we start, and then we stick to that. Unless it's a killer feature, you have this, you wipe out all competition. Okay, then you put it in. Yeah. So another person has left us. Yeah, another person has left us. And in the Buddhist tradition, we say, according to the karma, yeah, so Akim will take rebirth accordingly. And of course, we pray for her that she may have the conditions to be reborn in even the Pure Land. Yeah, then it's like the IPS, the 直通车. You go to Pure Land, it's like the integrated program. Yeah, so IP program. You just go there. You don't have to go through samsaric rebirth here, rebirth there. Don't have to. Yeah, just go there. But you need to meet the minimum requirement for this IP program. But if you meet it, go there. Okay, sweet all the way. Yeah. So the other day, was it yesterday or the 2 days ago, when my sister was sending me back? Yeah, we were reflecting about how samsaric existence is rather sad. Yeah, it's just a matter of who sent who off. Yeah, and as I reflected on it, I was like, this is such a, and perhaps when the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, and the Arahants, when they gain the knowledge of their past life, their manifold past lives, and they are even able to see the lives of countless individuals. I was telling my sister in the car, I was saying, like, if you don't have the wisdom of an Arahant, a Buddha, Bodhisattva, I think you will go crazy just witnessing that. Because it's no longer just, an interesting idea. It's like, Hollywood movie, they sometimes using Hollywood magic, they show the person like just observing over one life, because there's no idea of rebirth over one life. Yeah. And already that's so staggering, that's so overwhelming. Like you see the person just reflecting over the life and basically they are just taking the whole movie and then playing it at high speed, right? And even then it's so impactful. You feel like, wow, the person reflect over his whole life and so many things happen, as a child and then grow up, then so on and so forth. So then you're like, yeah, then imagine the enlightened ones, witnessing, because for them it's no longer just watching on the handphone or on the TV, Yeah, it's that they are able to really observe throughout countless life. Yeah. I think you don't need countless life. You just need a few hundred lives, and then I think you're like, samsara is so. And that's why in the Samyutta Nikaya, the Buddha said, we have gone through samsara for so long, since beginningless time. We have sent so many loved ones away, cried over their deaths for so long. If you were to collect all our tears that we have shed, I mean, it's just one person, the tears we have shed, it would fill up the 4 great oceans. Yeah. With each departing, as I reflect, it becomes more and more real. Yeah, it's not just a. I mean, now I feel like, it's not a metaphor. Metaphor means it's like that lah. It's similar, but not actually as literally happening. But now I feel that those teachings are literally saying, if you literally manage to collect all the tears, it's going to fill up the 4 great ocean. So imagine how much tears can we cry over one family member's death. One bucket is a lot. Don't think it's little. Actually, when we tear, right, we don't tear that much also. Yeah. If we tear 1 bucket, we would faint already. Maybe that's why some people cry until they faint, right? Because you are losing water. Yeah, dehydration. Yeah. About 60%, 70% of our body is fluid. Yeah. Yeah. But the water is in various forms. A huge part of it is in blood. So if you just have to shed 10%, 20%, you're going to just dehydrate. No? So imagine how many times you must cry to fill up the 4 great oceans. Yeah. So that day 我一时冲动, I told my sister. Then it dawned on me that, one day we'll be sending each other off, So I told her, I said, may I live the longest, so you all don't have to be the one to end up not. Because if you live the longest, right, then you send everybody off, then by the time it's your turn, right, actually most of the people who are sending you off, you also don't know them that well. They also don't know you that well, Yeah, so that day I 一时冲动. Lin Toy here, 一时冲动. Spur of the moment, roughly, 一时 one time impulse. 一时冲动. I told my sister, may I live the longest, so you all can be spared this painful experience. So I hope I outlive all of you, not just my sisters. Amitofo. 愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿得智慧真明了，
愿得智慧真明了。
不愿罪障悉消除，
不愿罪障悉消除，
世世常行菩萨道。
世世常行菩萨道。
阿弥陀佛。
阿弥陀佛。
Till we meet again, may be guided and protected by the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And as always,
乖乖，
all right,
谢谢师傅。
have a reflective day ahead. Take care, stay safe, and
谢师傅，
thank you everyone.
Thank you，
师
师傅，
傅，
Yeah.
拜拜。
Goodbye to all my lamas.
Thank you, 师傅。
师傅，拜拜。
Bye.
拜拜。